All right.
Hey guys, I'm Mare.
I'm Adriana.
And
And with
this
us
is
is Mr. Lozier, who is the director of a program called Hub and Spokes, right?
Kind of, yeah. I'll talk about that. It's actually a director of the HSC Polytechnic program.
Never
So,
mind. Would you like to explain to the viewers who don't know what that is?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So Hub and Spoke is actually the location, and it's not surprising to hear you call it Hub and Spoke. Hub and Spoke is a building that is actually it's a home design center being built at 106th Street and kind of the Nickel Plate Trail right now. And then HSC Polytechnic is a program for what will be next year's freshmen, but high school students will build for the next 4 years. That is housed inside of Hub and Spoke. So HSC Polytechnic is really a kind of a hands-on project-based program that will engage kids with opportunities, both college and career, but really try to get students immersed in kind of ideas of what they want to do before they're going on to college or career and actually pursuing those things. So all 4 years are really built around students either engaging with their projects in that space or designing their own projects as they go through the program while still earning their high school diploma from either HSE or Fishers High School. So they're still technically Fishers or HSE students. They're just choosing to take some coursework, most of their coursework over at the HSE Polytechnic program.
What an amazing way to prepare like the youth.
Yeah, yeah, I think
that
so.
that would have been so helpful for a lot of students.
Yeah. So the
Wow.
goal is, maybe if you think back to your freshman year when you're taking regular, or English 9 or 9 honors and social studies, maybe world history or something like that, algebra 1 or geometry, biology, those classes you kind of take as a freshman, you're going to learn those in a project setting, not by going from class to class, right? So each project helps you go through that curriculum and get what you need from that curriculum, but where everything's what we call interdisciplinary and interwoven. And then for certain things, as you can imagine, if you've done projects, sometimes things don't fit with project exactly. You're doing some online coursework, very similar to actually what people have been doing probably through e-learning to get those other parts of the curriculum in those years. And again, the goal of that is that you get to kind of explore your own interest in the way you go about doing those things.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, what was the motivation behind all of this?
Yeah, so it goes back a couple of years actually. So the city of Fishers was, I believe, approached by the founders of Hub and Spoke, right? And so Hub and Spoke founders were really just looking for to put a new business in place. And when they did that, the city met with them about what it would look like to bring their business to the Fishers community because they're not from Fishers. And in those conversations, they started talking about the way the city and the schools have partnered for opportunities for kids. So you may be familiar, or viewers may be familiar with, like, Conner Prairie now has a teacher in residence, and all fourth graders go to Conner Prairie for an immersive experience. The city is planning things like that where we're partnering with the schools, and this was kind of a next phase of that, and said, would you be interested in talking further with that? And so actually a little over a year ago, we just started having conversations of what that might look like. And so then really, I think everybody in the room, city, Hub and Spoke, and the school district are just looking for an opportunity for kids to have a more hands-on, non-traditional high school experience. And so as we've built towards that, everybody's pretty motivated. And part of that, just to be transparent, is the design center is rooted in skilled trades. So the kids who maybe aren't going to go to college right away, who want to get out and just build things, create things, do things like that. So it's kind of a recruitment a little bit for that, but it's not exclusive to that. I mean, a student can attend this program and never necessarily engage with those career fields. It's really just thinking about how do we expand those career opportunities or college opportunities so that by the time you're a senior, you can say, you know what, I've done this, this, and this, and I've had these college courses, and here's what I'm going to do based on what I've experienced. While it's free and it's safe, is really kind of the goal there.
I mean, a main concern for a lot of seniors, especially right now, is like, what am I going to major in college? What can I do? What can I do? This is
Right.
like, what an amazing way for people to discover their interests, their
Well,
disciplines.
to the senior audience, that's okay. You're going to probably take some courses, decide, I don't like that. Maybe you hopefully get some experiences in an internship or something to say, but what this does is bring that to the high school level so that you have more certainty as you explore those options. And again, like before you're paying for it,
Yeah.
so,
Wow.
yeah.
This sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I kind of, wow. I always say that a lot of the good stuff happens right when I'm about to leave,
Oh, I'm sorry about that,
It's
but
okay.
yeah,
The next generation can enjoy it.
yeah, you're your own kids, right? Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's your start out with how much staff you're going to have, how many
Yeah.
students?
Yeah, so the goal is to have up to 75 freshmen
Oh,
to start with, and each class will build 75. So it'll be about a 300 student program. Next year, we'll have up to 3 teachers. And so you're probably thinking through that. And so those teachers are really qualified to teach in this kind of way. And so when it comes to subject areas, they obviously have teaching licenses in certain subject areas, but they can work with the online blended type of curriculum that you guys have actually experienced here recently to get kids through coursework and credits. And so those teachers really function just as much kind of like what you'd be familiar with, like a smart period teacher, but it's smart period every day, the beginning and end of the day. And so think of it as if you walked into school, and I know you guys have Mr. Torres. If you started your day with Mr. Torres and he said, all right, here are all the goals that you individually are planning on accomplishing this day, and then I'm going to check in with you again at the end of the day and see how that went, and we adjust each day, right? And so that's really the kind of the learning environment. So you're used to going to a set schedule, right? This schedule's created that day. So what you actually would have are some options to say, well, when do you want to take English? Kind of like what you're doing right now, Mary, you said you're staying up way late doing your coursework. It wouldn't be that extreme, but it would be saying, you know what, I feel like I'm really on it at 1:00, and that's when I should go to English class. And so those things are offered at those times. And so kids cycle through when it works for them. And so if that doesn't work for you, maybe you like to start off your day not really talking to people. And so I'm going to do some online coursework to start my day, right? And so each kid gets to custom tailor their day, their week, and how they kind of go through the coursework in the same way you guys are probably navigating what you're doing right now.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've also found it really helpful with the e-learning to have your own schedule it's such a great way. Like my brain doesn't start working for like math or something until 6:00 in
You
the
know that.
afternoon.
Yeah. So exactly. And guess what? That's what is more authentic to what you'll do when you're not in a high school, right? And so whether that's college or career. And so the other part of that is try to give you some experiences where you figure out how you work best, how you best manage your time, but still are productive. That's a huge insight for you moving forward now, right? So yeah.
So, for like the students, are there any type of qualifications that a student needs to enter?
So not necessarily. So we're really, the only thing I think students should consider is if they are kind of questioning how school fits with them even right now, right? And so if you feel like kind of a non-traditional kind of student, or you want an opportunity to explore other facets of college and career and the experience, and I think part of that, I know it's been hard to be in e-learning, but how successful have you been with e-learning can really be a great indicator as to how the program fits. And guess what? If you haven't been real successful with e-learning, it's kind of like, well, let's work on that while you're in high school. And so you can figure out how to direct your own learning, be productive, meet those needs. And lots of times when kids are disengaged with school, it's because they're not into what they're interested in, right? School doesn't align with what they want to do. Maybe they think they want to do beyond high school, or even what they're into right now. And this also brings that opportunity for students to just have voice and choice in what they do every day. So in that sense, it's kind of hard to fail a class if you're building what you want to do in it, right? So that's the other kind of thing. So students would need to know that they would have to have some responsibility to advocate for their needs. If it's I know students who kind of click in and are like, I like when the teacher tells us to do these things, and then I get my grade, and this is the system of school and the process I like. This probably isn't a great fit if that's the process you like, right? But if you kind of question why it even works that way, or what that means to you long term, this is that program for you. So
Wow. So you said, because like my family, we were actually talking about this program a few days ago,
cool.
and we were really excited for my younger brother, but then realized you have to be a freshman.
Yeah. Yeah.
So okay, so you have to be a starting freshman, not already in high school. Okay.
Currently, yeah. And I'll tell you where that comes from. I haven't talked about. So we're partnered with Purdue Polytechnic High School, which is a charter school at Broad Ripple and in downtown Indianapolis. They have two
Mhm.
campuses, and they've been very successful in the charter community. So we have partnered with them to make basically their charter high school into a program that we offer to all of HSE students. In that guidance, what they find is it's really hard for kids, and once you're in the high school experience, to kind of switch gears. If you've been kind of in that traditional environment and this is the way you understand high school to work, it's not that it's impossible, but it's a big challenge. So their guidance moving forward was, we think you should start with freshman cohort, build them and the culture, and then they help other kids acclimate as they go through the grades, right? And kind of and build that way. And so that's the way they've started their other high schools each year, intentionally with that. And that was kind of their guidance moving forward. So I know it's hard. I've had tons of emails actually from sophomores especially, but even juniors, even seventh graders, saying, hey, can we think about this flexibly, which is awesome, because that's you guys advocating for your own experience, which is what it should all be about.
Wow. So do you see in the future the numbers, like the number 75, increasing? Because I remember you said that you want to start out with 75
Yeah,
students.
potentially. I think so. We have what's called a MOU, or a memorandum of understanding, which is kind of like a contract with Purdue
Mhm.
Polytechnic High School. And so that's in those guidelines. I think, we'll see where things go, and move from there, and what that looks like. The other part is, that we haven't talked a whole lot. Your freshman, sophomore year of the program, you're kind of in some structured projects to get your skills down, and you have what are called passion periods or passion projects. And so that's where you're just investigating whatever you want to kind of do. Once you get to junior, senior year, you get even more, basically you've proven yourself, like, I'm ready for this type of thing. And that's a moment where a junior or senior, again, you're still getting course credits, but you might design your entire junior, senior year to include internships or certifications or those sort of things that would actually be moving into post-secondary while you're still in high school. But you're also, let's say a kid wants to be a videographer, right? And that's what may want to make movies. There's potential they could design their junior, senior year to actually make films, meet the course requirements, move through the program, things like that. So it gets even more flexible as it grows from there. I think when that's the kind of opportunity we're talking about, we'd probably look at, I don't know, maybe expanding those numbers. I like that idea. The other part is hub and spoke actually is only large enough for freshmen and sophomores. So we're going to be looking at a junior, senior campus somewhere else potentially. And when that's on the table, obviously we could look at numbers, if the facility can accommodate more, maybe we investigate that at that time. I think that's one of the most exciting things about something like this is we're building it as we go. Again, to best meet student needs, not just to be these kind of adult ideas that we get going.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's I know one of my friends is a director, and he was trying to find time to like film a movie, balance schoolwork. Like, what a great idea to kind of merge those together. And
Right. Right. And so as he's doing that, he's probably, juggling his time to be still in high school, but it's still really pursue this passion over here. What this program does is bring those worlds together, right? And regardless, again, of passion, whatever that looks like, that's what's innovative about this. And again, I said it was kind of a trades driven, has some context around it. Those opportunities are there, but even to his point, there is an audiovisual company in the and there's also a trades publication magazine company at Hub and Spoke. He could learn about where those businesses have kind of been built around some of those other interests he has, or even potential them helping him edit video. It's just a great example of how the program can get built into his interest, not us creating these other interests for kids to kind of pursue.
well, that is an amazing program. I'm thinking about just starting high school all over again to do that. Thank you so much, Mr. Lozier, for being on the announcements with us today and sharing
Hey,
a great experience.
thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate it. So
I hope you guys all stay healthy and enjoy quarantine the best you can.
Will do.
All right. Thank you. Bye, guys.
See you guys.